theme of embracing winter, Owen Reeves is here with some of his favorite things to help us get out there and have some fun. Hey, Owen.
Hello.
How's it going?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing really good. I love winter.
Okay.
Are you a winter fan?
I'm going to say I'm medium on winter.
On
it's
winter.
not my least favorite season,
Okay.
but not my most favorite either.
Now I'm intrigued to know what Owen's least favorite season
So
is.
I have to qualify it. It's an ugly spring.
Yes.
So spring generally, I'm
Great.
a fan, but an ugly spring, not a fan. June, probably my favorite month of the year.
Okay.
So yeah.
But now we're talking about my favorite season. I love a winter. I love being cold.
Absolutely.
But you're going to help us with like a couple ways to kind of stay active and also just stay like appropriate in the winter time.
That's it. You
Yeah.
gotta be prepared.
You gotta be
We're gonna
prepared.
prepare a little bit.
That's what it is.
And so one of the first things
That we all do in the morning.
we are all doing in the morning, hopefully,
Hopefully.
this is a way to do it easier. That's clearing off your car. So from Canadian Tire, we have this amazing Garant telescopic snow brush. And so this thing, telescopic obviously means we can make it longer. And this thing
geez.
telescopes, this is 52 inches. So
Whoa.
even if you're on the shorter side of things,
Yeah.
you're still gonna be able to get up to the top of like a van or a pickup truck or an SUV.
Yeah.
And one of my biggest pet peeves is people not clearing off the roof of their car.
You got to clear the roof.
Gotta clear the roof.
Yeah.
So this is how you can actually reach the roof.
Yeah.
So for a lot of people, you might need a ladder. Now you don't. And the other thing that's really handy about this is that it has a foam brush rather than bristles.
Yeah.
So it's soft. It's not going to scratch the clear coat, and it pivots. So you can put it in different positions. So if you want to push the snow off instead of doing like a sweepy motion,
Yeah.
you have that option. Obviously, we've got a really good ice scraper on the back, but it's just that reach that makes it so much better and easier to do a whole vehicle. You can do this way faster than with like a little one.
Yes, that's very true. And I like that you can push it away from you, not just sweep it towards you.
Yeah, you don't have to like dump it on yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can actually push it off. And obviously a little bit more expensive, but really not that much more expensive, and you will not regret this.
No,
Pick up one of these. These are so handy.
Now, speaking of regrets, there's some misconceptions about clearing off like the snow out of your car. I've seen online. What do you have to say about water?
Yeah, so there's been a viral thing going around about putting hot water on the windows and windshields of your car to get frost off it in the morning. Please don't do this.
No,
Please don't do this.
don't.
This is a terrible idea. This is how you shatter glass. So
Yeah,
if that's what you're looking to do in the morning, the rapid temperature change can cause the glass to shatter. And I don't know if anybody's had to replace windshields or the windows in your car. It's very expensive.
Yes.
And they're not gonna have a lot of sympathy for you if you just dumped boiling water on your car. So please don't do that. Do it the old-fashioned way, but just with a better tool.
That's fantastic. Okay, so we've got our car cleared. Now we're ready to get out there and do stuff.
Yes.
So the first thing we're talking about is one of your favorite activities, and that's snowshoeing.
Absolutely, yeah. I love snowshoeing because you can do it anywhere. All you need is basically some snow, and it's also very, it's approachable, it's accessible.
Yeah.
So great for people of all ages. And so we're gonna start with some snowshoes for kids.
Okay.
So from MEC, these are the Tubbs Flex snowshoes. And what you're gonna find with these is they have really great traction. We'll start with that. So we've got, traction is really important, especially when you're going downhill or uphill on snowshoes. So this rail with all these little teeth on it, that's what's gonna stop you from sliding all the way down the hill. Also gives you a little bit of extra grip. And then this thing that's underneath where your feet go, this is called a crampon. And so this is also gonna bite into ice really well. So if you're on a slippery slope, this is gonna be really handy. And the really simple pivoting action. So
cool.
there's lots of different styles of snowshoes. These ones are gonna be really easy on your feet, so less tiring to use. And yeah, obviously great for kids. You sort of, these are up to maybe 13, you're gonna be using these, and then you wanna switch up to an adult version after that. And speaking of
adult version.
the adult version. So also from MEC, this is the Atlas Montan snowshoe. And these, I actually have a pair of these myself. I've had them for years. Really great for trails. So the one thing we wanna keep in mind with snowshoes is there's different sizes. So if you're looking and you're gonna see some of them are really long or wider, a lot of that has to do with whether you're going to go into deep snow. So if you're in deep snow, you're gonna want something bigger than this, because with this, you're still gonna sink. And the other thing you wanna consider is that they have a weight rating. So this, for instance, is gonna be good for somebody up to about 200 pounds. You need a bigger one if you're bigger than that, because otherwise you're just gonna sink down into the snow, because we're always trying to get that float in the snow. So make sure you check the size and make sure that it's gonna work for you. The other thing that we have in the back that I have to point out, this is called a heel lift. So this little thing that you pop up, you actually, your heel sits on this so that when you're going, probably best to show it out from the side. So that when you're going up a hill, rather than having your foot on a really weird angle, this allows your foot to be on a more natural angle while you're going uphill. Because it's really hard on your calf and your Achilles.
Yeah.
So much easier. You just flip that thing up and then you can flip it back down when you're on level ground. Makes a huge difference. And the buckle system on this is really easy to use. That's one thing where if you got gloves on, if you got mittens on, you need buckles that attach and also come off easily. You don't want to have to take your gloves off to make adjustments. So that makes a big difference. But yeah, Atlas makes great snowshoes, tubs as well. So really well worth the investment, but it's not a bad idea. If you're trying it out, you can rent them first, see if you like them, but they last for years and years and years. So like I said, I've had this pair for at least a decade and they still are in great shape.
I feel like you just sold me on snowshoeing, which is something I never thought I would do.
Mission accomplished today, right?
I think you called it like, you were like, it's a leisurely activity, and I like that.
Well, I mean, it depends. I guess you could go for a leisurely snowshoe, but you pick up the pace maybe, or if you're going
I'm a fast walker.
Right?
Yeah,
so
we got that.
Yeah, so then, or if you're going on more aggressive terrain, then that's something too. The other thing that I should mention, if you're going out, so for viewers in the mountainous regions of the country, avalanche stuff is becoming a lot less predictable than it used to be. So if you are trying to go out into the backcountry for the first time, you're trying out snowshoeing, please check forecast, check the avalanche safety first, really know about that piece before you go out, because we're seeing, unfortunately, people are dying and getting into really difficult situations. Please check that out beforehand.
Yeah, you gotta stay
really,
safe,
really
for
important.
sure.
Safety is very important.
It really is. And so this, if you are going for like a leisurely walk, but you don't want to do it in snowshoes.
Yes.
What are these little babies for?
You gotta have a good pair of boots,
Yeah.
right? So from Baffin, which is a great Canadian company based just over in Hamilton, we have got a whole bunch of different boots that are gonna work for snowshoeing, but also just if you're gonna go out for a cruise. So starting with the Borealis, I have a pair of these. I absolutely love them. Really great for snowshoeing or even just kind of going out for a walk in the winter. What's really handy about these is this part here is all completely waterproof, and the liner is removable, so you can dry it way faster.
Oh, that's nice.
Because a lot of times it might not be like your feet get wet from snow or rain, but you kind of sweat when you're wearing warm boots. So being able to pop that out, they dry out super fast, makes a huge difference. Now for something, this is a bigger boot, a little bit warmer as well, and also a bit more multi-purpose. So if you're gonna go out in the city, these are gonna be great, but they're also gonna be great for snowshoeing. These are called the Snowstorm.
Okay.
But the nice thing about these is they're still quite lightweight.
Yeah.
So you don't want a big clunky boot if you're going out snowshoeing, because you're just picking up that weight over and over again. So having something lightweight makes a big difference. These are both men's styles. And then in the women's styles, this one is called the Sage. So you're gonna have something really comparable to the Borealis, same removable liner, but like feel how light this is.
Oh man.
Like, it's an incredibly lightweight boot. So you don't have that extra weight that you're hauling around, because you don't think about how heavy your clothing is and your boots.
No.
But it's all that extra weight you're carrying around. And so if you can shave a couple pounds, that makes a big difference.
Owen's giving me leisure activity, and I like this, yes.
And also, we have, this is called the Jess. So this is something that, obviously these are stylish, they're gonna look good if you're walking around the city, but they're also great for taking out into the backcountry, going for a little walk. The one thing I wanna point out, if you see boots that are snowshoe compatible, all that means is this little lip that's on the back side of the boot here, the back buckle of the snowshoe sits on top of that so that it doesn't slide off.
Oh,
so that's
cool.
what snowshoe compatible means. It just has this little thing that holds the back buckle in place.
Right on.
Snowshoe compatible, very fancy.
I like, very fancy. Now, I'm into layering, and these little babies look really good at layering.
Layering's
Because now I'm gonna keep my
critical.
body warm. Yeah.
Right, and a lot of times if you're going outside and getting active in the winter, you can overheat, which you don't want to do. So we have from Arc'teryx, this is the Proton hoodie. This is the men's style, also comes in women's. This is a synthetic insulation. So this is really nice and lightweight. The difference or advantage with synthetic is that if it gets wet, or if you maybe get sweaty a little bit on the inside, it still is warm. It doesn't lose any of its insulating property if it gets wet. So this is really good for like a high output activity. You're gonna go for a run, you're gonna go for like a less leisurely snowshoe where you might work up a little sweat. This is gonna be really good. Now this is not waterproof, so if you're gonna be out in the rain or the snow, you can put a shell over top of this, but this is very breathable and is gonna keep you warm and comfy.
And then this one's got some down in it, keeping you warmer.
Absolutely,
Yes.
yeah. So this is the Cerium hoodie. This is the women's style, also comes in men's. So down is awesome if you're gonna be doing, I'm gonna say less active stuff, where you might not work up a sweat, because if down gets wet, it kind of clumps and it loses the loft, and so it doesn't have that insulation. So high output, synthetic, a little bit more leisurely or colder, then you're gonna wanna go with down. But this is also, I mean, feel how lightweight this is.
I know, I really like this.
That's the advantage of down. It is very, very light.
I feel like with this down, I could chuck something in my pockets to keep my little mitts warm.
I bet
Am
you
I
could.
right? Like
You
these
could.
little babies, Owen?
And so we're, rather than doing single use, you know, the kind where you pop the pack open and then throw it out afterwards,
the hand
these
warmers.
are USB rechargeable hand warmers from Amazon. And so what's really great about these is obviously the waste factor, very significant, but they're a great shape. They fit really nicely right in your palm. So you can hold on to those really nicely. 3 heat modes, and the warmest mode is very warm. So if you're somebody with cold hands, these are gonna be super handy, but they last a long time. On the lowest heat setting, it lasts for 10 hours.
Wow.
So you got an entire day there, and then you just plug it back in, recharge it.
Perfect for a day out tobogganing, am I right? So we've got one last thing right here, and it's a toboggan.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
And so this is meant for kids, but I'm gonna say maybe not just
Or
for
big kids.
Maybe
Yeah,
big kids could use this too. From Canadian Tire, this is the Stiga GT sled, and I had, I'm gonna say an older version of this when I was a kid. It was like my favorite thing.
You could go so fast.
Very fast, which is handy because it has a brake.
Yes.
So that's what that metal part is underneath the steering wheel, so you can actually slow down. I don't know that I used it a lot.
No.
But
I believe mine was made of plastic and I broke it immediately.
very handy that they're now made of metal. So this is the upgraded version. But these are super, super fun, and you can actually steer, which is
always a good thing.
Yeah, usually a good idea. Steering is a plus. But really meant for one, but I think if you were, maybe you could get 2 people on that.
You could, but the key is both those people in our house wearing helmets.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is one of those things where I definitely did not wear a helmet when I was doing this when I was a kid, skiing as well. Please wear a helmet.
Yes.
Wearing helmets is really good, and there are very comfortable winter helmets that you can get now.
Totally.
And so please wear a helmet. Very good idea.
Staying safe, staying warm, staying active.
We're having
Owen
fun.
Reeves, everybody. You know. Hey, Mary here. What did you think? Drop your comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of the good stuff.